What's up, guys? You know who it is. Marcus J. Jackson with another Live Life episode for you. We're going to be talking about domestic violence. October, the month of October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. All right? So definitely stay tuned with me. We're going to learn how to identify domestic violence, right? Some of us need a definition, right? Some of us don't realize that we're being abused. So tonight I'm going to talk about what is abuse, and a lot of us are going through these relationships and we're like, well, I don't know if this is abuse. So is this abuse, right? Or is this abuse? I mean, what's going on? If he looks at me mean, is that abuse? If he bumps up against me as he's walking by, is that abuse? So a lot of that can be viewed based on your opinion, and you have those who take a subjective approach and those who take an objective approach. It's just, I don't know, but everybody is different. People look at things different ways and so on and so forth. So this information is going to come from the National Domestic Violence Hotline website, right, which is the hotline.org. Okay, I'm going to put the information in the comments real quick. All right, copy and paste. Enter. Okay, so, all right. And definitely, we brought the National Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month to a close yesterday, which is technically it's October 1st. September 30th was the last day for the National Suicide Prevention Month in awareness. However, that awareness should be brought to the table, indefinitely. I mean, we should always have a platform where people can speak out about mental health, and suicide and domestic violence definitely have an effect on your mental health. And a lot of people think that mental health is something to be fearful of or fearful about or fearful to talk about. And you need to take care of your mental health just as much as you take care of your physical health. All right. Just like you spend time in the gym pumping up your muscles, getting the six-pack abs, you need to take time to build your mental health as well. All right. It's very, 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 very important that you realize that there is nothing wrong with trying to build your mental health. And I know society has kind of pushed this agenda where it's so taboo to talk about mental health. Well, I don't want to say I'm diagnosed with anything and I don't have a mental health problem. Everybody has mental health problems. Okay. If you are ever caught at a moment and you forget what you were saying, that's a mental health issue. If you go into a room and you forget what you went into the room for, that's a mental health issue. Okay. It's just that simple. If you wrote down a list to go to the grocery store and you left it in the car, that's a mental health issue. All right. They're all mental health issues. They're all having to do with your mental health and lack of practicing on the mental health. All right. So let's just get that clear because a lot of us, we have these very different ideas about what mental health means. And, and we are affected severely by this lack of information. Okay, this lack of information is destroying us. All right, so it's okay to need to build your mental health. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, once again, there is nothing wrong with you building your mental health. Okay. If you are in danger of hurting yourself or someone else, all right, please call 911 and get you some help immediately. Get you some help to you as fast as you possibly can. All right. If you need to talk to an expert, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. Okay, they can, those are professionals as well, or experts as well, and they can get you the resources that you need. All right. Before we jump into it, I'll just tell you a little bit about my situation with domestic violence. My stepdad beat my mom just about every single night, or just about every single day. You know, and that's just, he got a kick out of it. And she wasn't strong enough mentally to, to pick up and just leave. So we had to stay there and endure that. All right. And as a child, being ripped out of your sleep, or having your spirit, forced back into your body while you're sleeping, your heart rate is beating, your heart's skipping beats, and you wake up, your adrenaline is flowing, and you're afraid, and the cortisol production is high. So as a child, you tend to, as a child, I was fat. I was a little fat kid because it's not that I ate a bunch of garbage. It's just that my cortisol levels were so high, and my adrenaline was on point all the time, So of course I went through school. I wasn't really bullied or anything like that, but I was just prone to fighting because of my anger issues that I had towards my dad, but of course I didn't know that at the time. It's something I had to learn, but any damn way, that's just the way it was. Right. So, my mom, she suffered a lot. She broken hips, messed up eyesight, depression, anxiety, teeth messed up, jaw alignment knocked off, fractured, fractured collarbone, which caused other, ultimately the mental strain that it took on her body physically. She developed different types of diseases in the body. And, of course, I didn't know that at the time. Like, I wasn't as woke as I am now. There's a lot that I didn't know, and rightfully so, because had I known, I probably would have been very, very dangerous, towards my stepdad. But, and I'll talk about that. I'll share that entire story on one of the videos as well. And as you guys already know, that not my best friend, but one of my friends I was in the Army with, decided to take his own life. Suicide, claimed his life. He decided to commit suicide. So, hey, it happens. I know it was a heavy blow to me. So it was definitely a heavy blow to his family. So shouts out to them as well. Shouts out to everybody who is going through domestic violence. It is not something easy to go through. It is a mental fuckery that is so hard to undo. Anybody that overcomes it, that's my hat's off to you. All right. My hat's off to you. And you've had that experience and you came through it. My shout is out to you. I don't know what I've never known a domestic violence person a person who was administering the violence to have recovered. I've never known that to happen. I've never known, I don't even know if there's resources for people who abuse, their spouse, right? And, just women do it just like men do it. It happens. Both genders are capable of abusing their spouse, and their boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. So don't feel like, I don't know. If you know of some resources where you can get people like help, I don't know if they go through the anger management process, or if they go through, if there's a program out there that can help them with that. I'd be interested to share those, a program or those resources. But I don't personally know of any one that recovers from being an abuser, right? I know of women and men who have escaped the the prisoner of war mentality that comes with domestic violence, right? Because there's a great deal of ownership there, and you're treated like property. And so enough of that. Let me just go into some of the and let me put the information on here, right? So the warning signs of domestic violence, right? It's not always easy to tell at the beginning of a relationship if it will become abusive, right? And that's like 98% of the situation. Like, you put on this face, you put on your representative, is what I like to call it, right? It's your representative for the first 3 to 6 months. It's not the real you, right? It's the fake you. It's the you that you want everybody to see. That person represents you. So it's really not you, right? The first 3 to 6 months, everything's going smooth and, all that good stuff. And, it's like overnight. We see it as overnight, but it's been a very, very gradual thing. And it leads up to, it's like a cancer. It goes into remission, but it's always there. Because our body has cancer antibodies, in it automatically. But that's kind of the same thing with that. Like, you have that tendency to abuse one or abuse a human being is great. Then with the highlight of the majority of men that are said to be the aggressors when it comes to domestic violence. I don't know. It's a lot, man. But anyway, I'm just gonna stick with the with the telltale signs on here. All right. So, like I said, we don't really know. We can't really tell, right off if the person is going to be an abusive person. All right. In fact, many abusive partners may seem absolutely perfect in the early stages of a relationship. Possessive and controlling behaviors don't always appear overnight, but rather emerge and intensify as the relationship grows. Domestic violence doesn't look the same in every relationship, right? Because every relationship is different. But one thing most abusive relationships have in common is that the abusive partner does many different kinds of things to have more power and control over their partner, right? So some signs of the abusive relationship include a partner who, and I am going to get my tea. Actually, I'm having hot chocolate tonight. All right, so I'm gonna go get my hot chocolate. Then we'll go over, some of the signs of an abusive relationship. So go ahead and get your pen and paper if you need to. You can copy. Go to the hotline.org. Go there and look up the symptoms and not symptoms, but the signs of abusive relationship, and you can follow along with me if you want to. All right, I'll be right back. Oh, man. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So I'm back. Here we go. Let me jump into this real quick. I done wasted a whole minute messing around with this darn hot chocolate. All right. So here we go. Rocking my broken Buddha cup. Right? The mind is everything. What you think you become. Buddha. All right? There's my little Buddha man right there. So sad. Broke my darn cup. I don't know. I can't remember which one of the children broke my cup. But you know how you get mad because you don't want to wash dishes and you start breaking the dishes and shit, thinking that that's going to stop you from having to wash dishes. You know, they want you to say, get out of the kitchen. Stop washing dishes because all you do is break them. That's right up their alley, right? You know, that's just what they do. Crazy. So anyway, some of the signs of an abusive relationship include a partner who, right, just so you know, doesn't necessarily have to be a spouse or a husband or a wife, right? It could be a boyfriend, if you will, right, or a girlfriend, right, or someone you're dating, okay? We have all these different labels, right? So if they tell you that you can never do anything right, right? One of the major things that takes place when there's a domestic violence situation is that the attack on the mental psyche is very, very pronounced, right? They want to try and make you weak in the mind, okay? They want you to second guess everything that you do, and they are the final authority on everything, right? They know it all, and you don't know shit, right? You don't know anything. And it shouldn't be that way. It's not, you don't want to be in a relationship where this person is judging you based on what he believes is right and wrong, right? And now, and I don't mean that like it sounds like, oh, well, you mean tell me I'm her husband and I can't tell her what's right and what's wrong. I don't mean it like that. But when you tell them that, you're and women, when you tell a man he can't do shit right, it becomes psychological burdensome, and it starts to affect the person mentally, and they love you, so they don't want to necessarily, and they're not going to smack the shit out of you, right? Because they're afraid, of being called names by you. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to go through that on a regular basis. So they'd rather just be quiet, and wait till you shut the fuck up, right? So, because they don't want to get you started, right? So if they tell you that you can never do anything right, that's a red flag. You want to watch out for that, right? If they show extreme jealousy of your friends and time spent away, right? One of my clients, one of my first clients was a domestic violence. She had the domestic violence experience, and this person would call her job to make sure that she was there, right? And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't even want to date, or be married to somebody that I feel like I gotta call a job and make sure she's there. No. That's not what we want. All right. That is not what we're looking for, as one of my instructors used to say. If I would do something, or I wouldn't necessarily learn the lesson completely, or my opinion about something would be totally off, and she'd be like, no, Marcus, that's not what we're looking for. Oh, man, that's so good. That's this organic hot chocolate that I'm not going to tell y'all where I get it from because it's so good. And every time I tell y'all where to get something, I go to the store to get it, it'd be sold out. I'm going to stop telling y'all my secrets, man. I'm just going to stop telling you. I told a while back, I did a video on apple cider vinegar and the benefits of it. Go to the store now, I can't even find it. I got to go to 3 or 4 stores because they out of apple cider vinegar. Done telling y'all secrets, man. If you're in a relationship and you know that your spouse or this person that you're dating, your partner is insecure, right? 9 times out of 10, they're going to display it, and you're gonna know it. But if you know this, right, going into the relationship, then that's probably when you probably need to pump the brakes, right? Like if you know it, like you've gone through the little honeymoon phase of the date, and you can already tell that the person is extremely jealous. It's normal to be a little jealous, because I get a little jealous. When Foxy be gone, for an extended period of time, 2 hours or hour. No. No, but when she's gone for a while, I'm just like, hey, everybody having fun with my baby except me. You know what I mean? Like, it's normal to get a little jealous like that, whatever normal means. But for the sake of example, I'm going to use the word normal per se. So, and I get a little bothered by that, but it's no big deal. I'm good with it. But I do get a little jealous when she spends a lot of time away. Like, she went on a nursing conference one time, and she was gone for like 4 days, and I was just like, it wasn't really a jealousy, but I really missed her. And I was like, oh God, my baby's gone for 4 days. Like, wow, I really missed her presence. You know what I mean? So, It wasn't so much that I was jealous. I say that jealous is a very, very strong word. I don't know if there's a kind of jealous or a medium jealous, or you know what I'm saying? But definitely, if he shows extreme jealousy of your friends and time spent away, right? He pulls that shit like, you always spending time with your friends, but just forget it. You don't want to spend no time with me. That's all right. I'll just leave, right? That's mental. That he's starting to mess with you mentally, right? And excuse me, nose is running. He's starting to mess with you, and watch. That's probably gonna catch in the screenshot when I go do my live pause. You know that pause when the video freezes. I just know it's gonna catch that with my darn tissue in my nose, but I don't care. Let me cut this fan on. Hot chocolate's making me hot. So, yeah, you want to watch out for that, right? Because that's just a red flag you want to pay attention to. Extreme jealousy, when you spend time with your friends or you spend a lot of time away, right? They're insecure. They're very insecure. They want to know your whereabouts. They want to know where you are, what you're doing. And when you don't tell them, excuse me, and they don't know, they become a little disturbed. It kicks in. So, and another red flag is they keep you or discourage you from seeing friends and family members. And this is one thing that my stepdad did. He completely cut us off from our friends and family members. Like, we used to do the whole, family reunion thing. Because when you get married, like the first year or two, you want everybody to meet your husband. And I think I was probably about maybe 4 or 5 when my mom met my stepdad. And, that first year or two, she was excited about him, showing him off and all that good stuff. And, all of a sudden it just stopped. And I didn't know at the time it was because, I just thought, hey, we didn't have time to go around, or we had other stuff to do, or, whatever. But when I saw my uncles and aunts come over, because my mom called them and said that, hey, we got into it, he's beating on me, so on and so forth, right? It's kind of hard to go around your spouse's family after you know that the husband is beating on the wife, or your sister, or your brother's being abused by his wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to go around a family like that. Like, it's really, really weird to do something like that. Excuse me, guys. Oh, boy. It's really difficult to do something like that when, you're around a family and they might smack you in the head or hit you over the head with something, right? They just came to the house and they tried to basically take you out, but you're going to go around and hang around the family during the family reunion, right? It doesn't really make sense. I don't know. It's different. So, I don't know. But my mom's family stopped coming around anyway because they were tired of my mom going back to my stepdad. So no matter how bad he beat her, no matter how many names he called her or whatever, she always went back. She just always went back. She was mentally compromised, and my stepdad had her afraid of wanting to go out there, and told her, he always discouraged her. told her she wasn't good enough, she wasn't smart enough, she was too slow to make it in this big Dallas society or big Dallas world, right? Because she was from the country. And a lot of times, women that are from the country or rural areas, they come to the city, or they have always been afraid to come to the city, or they've always dreamed of coming to the city, but somebody's told them, hey, it's hustle and bustle in the city. You got to know, you got to move and shake, and you got to be smart, and you got to learn how to survive, and street smarts and all this kind of stuff, right? So we grow up, the young women grow up like that, thinking that they have to have these special kind of skills to survive in the city, when the only thing they're doing is trying to make you afraid to come to the city so you can stay in that state of arrested development that a lot of people are in when they don't want to pursue anything. Not so much as coming from the country to the city. They just don't want to pursue anything. They just they're content with where they are in their life, and they don't want to make any moves, and they don't want you to make any moves. Okay? So just want to put that out there so you can know. All right? That's what that is, right? They're discouraging you from wanting to do anything, not just to see family members and friends. Like, they don't want you to. They're discouraging you from doing anything because you are supposed to be completely codependent on them, right? And that's why a lot of men will pursue women whose cup is half empty, because they know that they're easy prey. They know that they're not completely whole in a relationship, right? They know that they have some weaknesses going into a relationship, so they prey on those, right? And they present all of these red flags that we're talking about. So you don't really want to go around your family, do you? Well, they don't do nothing but cause problems. Well, your family is ghetto, or your family is bougie, so I really don't like being around them. I don't want you to go around them. And it's all the time. Now, maybe sometimes you just really don't feel like going around people like that, right? On one end of the spectrum from the other, like, you just don't care. You don't want to go around them. But I am saying to you, if this is something that happens often, and every time you want to go around your family, there's great resistance, right? And he's trying to discourage you from going around it, that's a red flag. You might want to pay attention to that, because that's what my stepdad did to my mom, okay? If he insults or demeans you or shames you with put downs, right? So just like I said, my stepdad used to always call my mom all kind of bitches and hoes and all kind of stupid shit like that. Like, it really fucking unnerved me. And as a child, I would go to my room and scream, "Shut up!" I'd be like, "Shut up!" And I'd get in trouble, and they would come in there talking about, who you talking to? They both gonna come together when it's time to discipline me for saying shut the hell up, right? But they gonna go back in there calling each other names and fighting again. It's just, I was so confused. You know what I mean? So confused. But yeah, he used to call her all kind of names, right? He would try to refrain from doing it in front of us, but he just couldn't. He couldn't help himself, right? And my stepdad was a pastor, so to let you know, he was a man of God who abused his wife, whatever the fuck that means. I don't know. But anyway, just saying things like, she's not that smart. She's a little slow, or she's dumb. And one of the stupidest things that he used to do is when we would be out with people, my mom would, she would laugh and just be engaged with everybody, and he would feel like she's outshining him, right? Because my mom, before she started going through this roller coaster of depression and anxiety and shit like that, getting on medications and psychotropic meds and all this kind of stuff, right? Before all that, she was very outgoing, like very bubbly. People liked her, all that kind of good stuff. And, he would be like, well, when you laugh at everything, you laugh at everything, That just embarrasses me. And I'm just like, the fuck? Like, what? How does laughing embarrass you? Or, she'll talk, or, and other people will laugh and things like that. And that embarrasses him, because he wanted to be the center of attention. The pastor wants to be the center of attention. That's why I have very little respect for pastors, right? Very little respect for preachers and pastors. And because, let me take that back. I have very little respect for a large percentage of preachers and pastors. Okay, very little respect. And here's why. Because the majority of you will hide behind that pastor, preacher title, right? As if you do no wrong, right? But you do. As if you're living without sin, but you are. All right? You are sinning. Okay? You are doing just that. And it's because of your lack of vulnerability and transparency has a great deal of our brethren steering down a path of ignorance. Okay? So I just want to make sure I clarify that, because I do have some friends that are pastors, and I have some friends that are preachers, and their fathers are pastors and preachers. So I just want to make sure I clarify that. And so, yeah, that's what that is. Okay. If you were vulnerable enough to display your human side, preachers and pastors, us as brethren, us as men, would have a more realistic outlook on how to conduct ourselves, right? But if we're steady taught that we're the ones that's wrong, we're the ones that's sinning, we're the ones that's making all these mistakes, but you as the pastor, because you're blessed and you got it all together, you are without flaw. That's why I have a problem with you, and that's where you need to be corrected. Okay? That's what that is. Let me get off of that soapbox. And I have a doctorate degree in divinity. Trust me. Okay? Trust me. This is not information I'm just spewing off the top of my head. This is stuff that I know. I've watched my father be a womanizer. I watched him abuse my mom. I watched him abuse other women. Okay, so I know, right? I know what you do behind closed doors. I know what the majority of you do behind closed doors. Okay, and that's why we're in the condition that we're in now. All right, but I digress. If they are, let me go back to that. So they're ashamed. They're ashamed. They say that they're ashamed of you, and just those put downs. Things that you should not be saying to your spouse. Like, this is the woman you want to spend the rest of your life with. Like, why do you want to talk shit to the woman that you want to spend the rest of your life with, or the man you want to spend the rest of your life with? Like, why do you want to talk shit to him? Like, why do you want to say things to demean him or insult him? Right? That does nothing for your relationship. But to you women out there that do that, you are breeding a male that's a scarred male, and he's never going to be good to any other woman because of the way that you treat him. Okay? So I want you to understand that it goes both ways, right? So if you treat each other like shit, like that person from that relationship is going to go, and they're going to be scarred. And when somebody actually loves them and cares about them, they're not going to even know it because of the experience with you. Okay, so stop with the fuckery, people. Stop with the abuse, with the mental abuse, with the insults and demeaning, and speak life into your relationship. Speak life into your spouse. All right. So that way, when they go into another relationship, if it's not with you, you want to see them be better. You want to see them be the strongest version of themselves, right? You don't want to be this bitter old asshole that, you know, you want to destroy this man or destroy this woman so that they can never benefit anybody, right? You're messing up the whole process. Our process is to reproduce and create little versions of ourselves, right? Nobody's going to want to be with us if we're carrying around all this baggage from physical and emotional abuse from our spouse. Like, we don't want that. Like, nobody wants that. Okay? So, positive vibes only when it comes to the relationship. All right, people? Let me move on. All right? So, if they take your money or refuse to give you money for necessary expenses, all right? This is abuse. All right, you want to know what is abuse? This is abuse. All right, they're trying to control every single penny spent in the household. Right, takes your money and refuses to give you money for necessary expenses. You know, and that my stepdad used to do that. Like he would, if something needed to be bought, like he would go buy it. You know, so. My mom rarely went out after we got like a certain age. Like my mom rarely got the keys to the car, which whenever she had the keys to the car and was able to drive, like it was a very special thing. And I was like, God, really? You know, like why? I never understood why she couldn't, you know, have the keys to the car. We had 2 cars, so why couldn't she go somewhere or do something? I mean, but she had to go through like a bunch of shit from him. You know, questioning and all kind of random shit because, you know, he was out there cheating and, you know, when you beat and you treat your spouse bad, you have a tendency to think that she's going to find somebody else that treats her better because you know that, you know, you treat her bad, right? So if you let her out and you go do things or you let him out and go do things, you know, you're not really encouraging that because you don't want to lose the power. You lose the force that you have over this person, right? It's not really a power, but you're exerting your forcefulness on this person, all right? So you want to make sure that they don't spend this much money. You know, you want to keep track of every single penny, right? Every single penny to the T, right? And I understand some of us are anal like that. Some of us are numbers people. We hide up under that little umbrella. But, you know, if that's not your spouse, and it's like, it's not your money that you made, right? You know, you guys aren't in an agreement of some type of financial agreement, and that's what you're doing. No. Leave my finances alone, ma'am. Right? If we're not teaming up to do anything, you know, we're just dating, or, you know, we're just, you know, we're kind of living together, just kind of piecing things out, and we don't necessarily have a plan set, right? You're doing your thing and I'm doing mine. Don't try to control my finances. No. You keep your eyes on your money and I keep my eyes on my money, right? Unless we have agreed to some kind of financial transparency. Other than that, no. That's not even what that is. You should have your own bank account and she should have her own bank account. Okay? Brothers and sisters, you need to have your own bank account. I don't care how long you've been married. It does not matter, right? That's just my opinion. You need to have your own banking account, preferably in a completely different bank, okay? Because, you know, and it's not, oh, well, you know, we have trust in our relationship and that's just how it is. Okay. You keep on thinking that, okay? Because people change, and that's what we refuse to recognize that. But, hey, let me move on because I want to get through this. He looks at you or acts in ways that scare you, right? That you can tell an abusive man. I'll give you a little tidbit, right? You can tell an abusive man if there's a few things that they do. Like they'll clench, you know, their teeth, you know, or ball their fist up, right? And they get right up in your face and talk shit, right? I can talk shit to Foxy from right here. She can stand over there by the door or by the wall, right? I don't have to be up in her face, right? But because what I'm trying to do is intimidate her. If I'm all up in her face like this, talking shit to her, right? Right. That's what that is, right? You don't want to, that's not it. And, they're clenching their teeth, or they may not even be saying anything, but they're in your face. They invade your personal space, right? And they ain't trying to kiss or hug you, right? But they're invading your personal space, talking shit, or giving you those silent cues of aggression, right? Or that look, that look in their eye, like, I'll smack the shit out of you kind of look. You know what I'm saying? You know the look, right? You know the look. So no need to play games here. This is a real platform. And you give looks to people. So definitely, just be aware of that. Be aware that, that's one of those signs, like one of those signs that when they cross that personal space area, if it's the smallest thing, right, they tend to show their colors when they get in that personal space. And right there, that's enough for me right there. That's borderline assault, right? I mean, you can actually file assault charges because you feared for your life, right? That's intimidation. Why you all up in here talking to me? Like, why you got to be all up in here talking to me and talking shit to me, right? You can talk noise from over there, right? If you want to just talk from over there. Don't come all up in my face. You're spitting on me and all this kind of good stuff while you're talking. No, ladies. No, gentlemen. Your wife or spouse or partner should not be doing that to you. All right? I don't care who you are. I don't care what you shouldn't even play like that. Okay? It's just something that you shouldn't do. Now, like I said, this is for people who don't know how to identify abuse. It's okay for you to play in your relationship. Me and Foxy play fight all the time. So it's just not, but she already knows that I would never do anything to hurt her. And I know she would never do anything to hurt me. So it's an understanding. We recognize we've been together 7 years. So, like we know. We know where to draw the line. We know what to do, what not to do, and all that kind of good stuff. But this is for the people who don't really understand what abuse is, or they need to know how they're being abused if there's an abusive situation going on. Okay. So let me see. Controls who you see, where you go, or what you do. That's kind of tricky. Controls is a bad word, I like to say. Like, nobody should be controlling you. Wait a minute, hold on. I thought I had a comment. All right, no. Nobody should be controlling you at all. Like, that shouldn't even be. That's not even that shouldn't be a thing at all, right? But if someone is trying to, if they want to know your whereabouts for safety purposes, then that's something that I do. I'll ask Foxy where she's going and who she's going with, just so I can know who I need to talk to if something happens, or where I need to go back to, where I need to send the police or whatever, right? Like, I want to, for safety purposes, not, who you going with and where you going. I want to know, I need to know who you with and all this kind of shit. It's not because of that. It's just for safety, for security purposes. Like, your man should ask you, hey, baby, where are you going and who are you going to be with, right? You should expect that, but not in a sense of where, I need to know who you go, where are you going, who you be every single time. Like, you need to ask me where I'm going and who I'm with every single time, right? I get that. And I get that. This is information that should be volunteered, right? If there's an understanding there, okay? In my opinion, in a healthy relationship, it's just what I do. It's what I would recommend that you do it. I don't feel like, Fox is going to go anywhere and not tell me. I don't feel like she's going to go anywhere and not tell me who she's going to be with. Like, it's just what she naturally does, right? And same with me. I'm not just going to not tell her where I'm not going to just take the keys and walk out, say, I'll be back. The hell? What you mean? Hey, where you going? I mean, I need to know, where you going, just so, what if the car breaks down? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if you forget your phone? Like, there's anything can happen, right? And I'm not just going to leave the house and not tell her where I'm going. I could just be going to the gym. I'm just going to say, hey, babe, I'm heading to the gym. I don't have to tell her that, but shit, I want to. I want her to know where I'm going to be. You know what I'm saying? If something pop off, she needs to know that if I'm not answering my phone, she can call the gym and say, hey, I need Marcus. I need my baby quick right now. Can you get him for me? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that. So that one is kind of iffy. I don't agree with the controls, right? But when they're trying to control that, I'm not, it's a difference, all right? I totally get it. Now, I'm not going to tell her, no, you can't go there, or no, you can't go over here, or you can't go with this person. But, I do want to know. So I don't feel like that's a controlling aspect. But when they're trying to control where you go and who you go with, and they tell you, no, you can't go to this place, no, you can't be with this person, or they'll say some shit like, oh, no, because you like the bartender there, you can't go there. I saw the bartender looking at you funny, you can't go there. No. That's insecurity. Okay? Now, if the bartender's giving you problems, then yeah, I can understand that. But, where you go, who you go with, what you do, that shouldn't be controlled. That should be information that's volunteered. All right. Let me see. Prevents you from making your own decisions. Right, is another red flag. And a lot of people. This one is a tricky one too, because a lot of people will say that once you get with somebody, like they'll say that you changed, right? Because one of Fox's family members was like, you used to serve the Lord when you was at home, but now you with this man, he got you traveling all over the world and doing all this kind of stuff, going to the beach, and we don't know nothing about no beaches. Where are they doing that at? And I'm like, what? Are you serious? Like, did he really just say that? Anyway, I was floored by that, but and I was kind of like, how is that? What does that have to do with her serving the Lord and traveling and doing? I don't know. But anyway, but Foxy makes her own decisions. I make my own decisions, and we make decisions together, right? Everybody makes decisions that benefits them. So you should not be discouraged from making your own decisions. Nobody should prevent you from making your own decision, all right? That's a red flag, right? You don't want nobody to stop you from making decisions. Tells you that you're a bad parent or threatens to harm or take away your children. That is a total no-go. No, ma'am. No, sir. You do not threaten the man with taking the children, all right? And fellas, you don't threaten the woman with taking the children. That's not what it is, okay? So if your spouse is doing that to you, that is a form of abuse. Prevents you from working or attending school, that's a red flag, because this person, that's where they are exerting force over you, right? They're forcing you into a situation where you cannot do anything for yourself. That way you're codependent on them. A lot of people want to call that power, but that's not power. That's force. They're using forceful. If you're threatened or coerced in any kind of way, that's force. That's not power. All right. So there's a distinction. There's a difference. So they're forcing you to be complacent and insecure, just like they are. All right. They don't want you to go to work, or because if you go to work, that's going to get you access to money, and you're going to have some power. Okay. Right now, they have the ability to force you into situations because you may not have an education. They may be the one working, and you may feel like, oh, well, I don't know anything about working. I never worked before. I don't have any skills, which is a lot of women nowadays. Like they don't have any skills, you know, or they don't have the education. So they depend on the man to do everything, right? And that gives the man the ability to force you into situations because, you know, you haven't really, you haven't acquired those skills. Okay, guys. If they destroy your property or threatens to hurt you or kill your pets, we remember that from Fatal Attraction. Intimidation you with guns, knives, or other weapons. My dad used to, he had a gun. I don't know if he pulled it on my mom or not or whatever, but I know he broke a bottle and threatened to stab my mom with it one time. And I flew off the handle. I'll tell you about this story one time. So yeah, definitely if they're using weapons towards you, when weapons come out, guys, that's a major red flag. Go ahead and make arrangements to separate yourself from this person, because when guns and knives and other weapons are involved, that is the only thing next to that is death, right? And if you're not ready to transition from this life to the next, then no, by all means, let that go. That is not a relationship that you want to be in, where, you know, you're stabbing each other, shooting each other, and all this kind of stuff. You know, when she loved me, and he's the only one that cares about me because he stabbed me, and I hate to sound like that, but that is the reality of it. So I apologize for that, because that's the reality for a lot of people, right? They don't know any other love besides thinking that if somebody really loves them, they will threaten to hurt them. Okay, so I apologize for that, because that is some people's reality. Okay, that is their reality. They really, really believe that a person does not love them if they don't smack the shit out of them from time to time, or if they don't threaten them or choke them out every once in a while. They think that that's real love, you know. Unfortunately, that's it, people. But if I'm telling you now tonight that if somebody is putting their hands on you or using a weapon, that it's not love. It's not love. You may have a strong affection for this person. You may really, really like this person, but that's not love if they're using a weapon on you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. If you've been shot by your spouse or stabbed by your spouse, you know, or they've used other kind of weapons on you, guys, partner, whatever situation you're in, try to make a plan to get out of it, because it's not worth it. You know, it's not worth you losing your life when you could actually be with somebody who really loves and cares about you. Okay. Let me see. Pressures you have. Oh, they pressures you to have sex when you don't want to, or do things sexually you're not comfortable with, right? And that is that's a whole video in itself. Wow, yeah, that's a lot. You know, even if you're married, like if you don't want to have sex, then you don't want to have sex, and you shouldn't be forced to, right? And that's a lot. That has a lot of religious connotation to it. Well, because you're my husband, you're supposed to give it to me whenever I want it. You're supposed to do what you're supposed to do. You know, then the wife, you know, or the man with the wife, you know, you're my wife, you're supposed to give it to me whenever I want it. You know, well, I could just take it if I want it because you're my wife. Doesn't really work that way. All right. It doesn't really work that way. So if they pressure you into using drugs or alcohol, all right, we already know that these drugs and alcohol and different sexual acts or requests, you know, like drugs, alcohol, and sex have taken shit to a new level now. All right, and people, you got to be mindful of that. You know, you got to be mindful. You know, if you're being forced to drink or you have to drink, right? You have to abuse alcohol and drugs to be in a relationship with somebody. It's not worth it, guys. It's not worth it. All right. So that's what I wanted to cover tonight. Tomorrow I'll do a little bit more. We'll go into a little more. We'll get deeper into domestic violence and things to look out for and so on and so forth. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and sign out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Shout out to Trina Woods. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you're still on, thank you so much. I'll be back on tomorrow night between 12 and 2 a.m. Just depends. Usually I hop on at 12, but it depends on. I have a client that I usually have at like 11 o'clock, and it'll go over. And sometimes he's on a different time zone, and sometimes it may carry over, or he doesn't come on till late, right? So we'll start and I usually start just for him, I have a flexible window, right? Yeah. So anyway, y'all take it easy, man, and trying to do too much. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about domestic violence. Live life to the fullest, guys. All right. Please take advantage of some of these resources. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Marcus J. Jackson. All right. Hit that subscribe button. Get the notification. Go to those little 3 dots up there and make sure you hit notify first, or first to notify, or whatever it says, so you can get my go lives first. All right, guys. Listen, y'all take it easy. Try not to do too much. Live life to the fullest. Peace. Yeah.